little while ago, I made a video on emotional time travel, and I called it also the ups and downs. And it is an experience of ups and downs, and we do emotional time travel quite a bit, and it has been a pretty common thing in the past. And if you've ever had that experience, and I'm sure everyone has, I know I have, of getting lost in a memory from the past. Now, anything that happens that's already happened is, and in the past, is a memory. And it's just a memory. But people have a tendency to get wrapped up in some of these memories, and they just can't let it go. And they dive into this kind of rabbit hole of sadness and depression. And then in that present moment, when they're experiencing this, they become sad and depressed and a little bit down, and they feel it. And they feel it because they're focusing on it. And that was a big piece of that video, is that what we focus on, we feel. What we give our response to is what we feel. And we feel it in the present moment where we are. On the other hand, if somebody's focusing in on some of the more wonderful experiences that they've had in the past, they can tend to feel more joyful and uplifted now and in the present moment. It comes in that way. And that can also have an impact on our future. We have a future vision, something that's coming up, and maybe it's an exciting thing. Perhaps it's a wedding, something like that, a retirement party, something that we're looking forward to. Then we can look forward to it with some anticipation and excitement. On the other hand, if there's something coming up in the future that is similar to past experience we had that didn't really go very well, and here it comes again, a person can begin to feel anxious and nervous, all these fear-based emotions about what's coming up. And as they focus on that, well, they begin to feel that. On the other hand, if it's what's coming up, we've had a lot of success in the past, then we may be looking forward to an event with some real positive energy, some excitement about seeing it come true. And this is true for everyone. And I think that for someone who's feeling depressed a lot, when it comes back down to memories of the past that are holding them back, and indeed always kind of trapped in this, sinking down in this rabbit hole of sadness and depression based on past memories, or angst for the future, which is somewhat fed by these past memories. It isn't necessarily medication for some of these cases that's going to help. It's just simply a shift, a change of what you're focusing on. And everybody has the ability to do this, and can be done in a heartbeat. And the idea of the video, working at the level that it was offered, was offering people that awareness that if that's what they're finding themselves doing, is bringing themselves down all the time based on, past memories mixed with a future vision, or indeed maybe a lack of a vision of the future, then don't necessarily take medication for it, but change to more positive outlooks. Focus on some of the more positive things that you've done, some things that have worked out well, some really happy memories. And that can, at that level, assist you into a better experience in the present moment, and not always being saddened. And on the other side of that, if you're going into something positive and you're all excited and fired up about it because you've had some good luck in the past, if for some reason when that actually shows up and it maybe doesn't go too well, it can be really emotionally devastating. And then a person can kind of dive into this sadness thing of, I'm a failure, I didn't do good enough, and whatever that is. So the inherent problem beyond a temporary fix is that it's kind of like a ping pong ball game, and you're the ping pong ball. You're bouncing between all these memories of the past, these visions of the future. You're trying to focus on this and focus on that. And once you realize that what you focus on, you feel, you start bouncing into different experiences of what you used to feel in the past, looking for happy things in the past. And you just get bounced around a lot. And this also happens when someone is focused on their environment, and whether they are happy in their environment or they're not happy in their environment. And the environment initially is the body, mind, and heart. That's your immediate environment. Beyond that, it extends into the world around you, and find that the one you find yourself operating in. And this concept of needing to change what's out there will make me happy starts to be a big thing. And that has a lot to do with this, because in the body, mind, and heart, we're talking about really emotional time travel. When we get into the world around us, people often focus on what they don't want and what they're not happy with. And initially, when I talk with someone, that's usually what you hear all about. Well, I don't like this, I don't want that, I don't like this, I don't want that person around, rather than focusing more on what they do want. But still, it's what I call your ping pong ball experience. So what about the present moment? What about finding that thing to focus on that's always there, it's always upbeat, and gives you the energy and the presence to move forward and do what you need to do? So I'm talking here about the person, the being that you really are. Because I talked in another videotape about being human, and we are human beings because we're not just human. I know that's a cliche phrase, but a corpse is merely human. We are a human being, and if you're watching this right now, you are a human being, and you are being human. The concept of the realization that you are a spiritual being incarnate in physical form goes back from the moment of inception, when a spiritual being begins to form what needs to be formed in order to become a living human being and offer the expression of who they truly are into the world. That's why you came. Now, at the moment of death, there is that separation. But while you're present, while you're here, you have the opportunity to begin to find a realization of who you really are. Well, how do you do that? Well, you focus on it. What you focus on, you feel. What you respond to, you begin to experience. Well, how can we narrow that down? Well, what are some of the qualities of life? When I'm talking about a spiritual being, I'm talking about life. Life, truth, love, joy. They're exciting things. They're fun things. I like joyful things. I like happy things. I like life. I like love and all these wonderful things. So, yeah, begin to allow that to be your focus. And not just your focus, because as you focus on these qualities of character, then you begin to feel in the present moment, the joy of the expression of these things, and you begin to know, because you know what you express. Going back to the ping pong thing, you focus on a bad memory. You begin to feel bad. You express bad, and you know bad. And some people really get trapped there. And that's where they think, a pill or something is going to really help them. Well, let's move beyond the level of the ping pong ball and begin to express the being you are. And I used to have a friend of mine who used to say, well, if you're not happy and you can't find a reason to be, fake it. After you fake it for a while, you're going to be happy. Why? Simply put, because that's what you're focused on, that's what you begin to feel, and that's what you express. You know what you express. You will begin to know who you truly are when you begin to express the quality and characters of life. Life energy flows through you out into the world as a blessing to the world and those that come within your sphere of things and beyond. Begin to focus on these positive qualities. Begin to meditate on them, to begin to allow that spiritual being to permeate body, mind, and heart. Once it does that, and the expression of love goes out through you into the world, then you begin to know, and know that you know, who you are, why you came here, and what you're supposed to do while you're here. Blessings to everyone out there and your journey to knowing who you really are. Feel free to get into contact with me. Oh yeah, and feel free to do that little like and subscribe thing, and the little bell thingy will ring and you'll know when I get new videos out. All those wonderful things. So again, thank you, and we'll see you in another video.